All right, hello and welcome back. So let's see. We've done the takeoff lesson. We've done the taxiing lesson. Um, and then now we're going to check out this dead stick landing lesson that's built in. We'll see how good it is. I imagine it's fairly reasonable, as the others. And we'll go from there. So let's hop in here and see what it is involving. So in this training session, you'll be placed in conditions that will allow you to focus on using the yoke only to land. Manage speed and glide path on the final approach. Flare the aircraft to touchdown smoothly and brake after landing to end the flight safely. Duration 4 minutes. Line up the nose of the plane with the end of the runway. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, let's hit fly and see what it says. When extending flaps, you need to lower the nose of the aircraft to maintain your speed. Yes, that's true. Which also makes it easier to see over the nose. That's also true. So this is actually very similar to my lesson video that I just did on simulated engine out. I'll link that above too. You've probably seen it though, it's pretty recent. So looks like we're going to be popping in right in the air, probably with no power. So I'll leave my throttle down for the moment. Get ready to fly.
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast.
We're trimmed up pretty nicely for that right from the get-go.
Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does.
Let's put some flaps in. I'm not maintaining 65. So that was a problem.
We're coming up on flare height. Now focus on the end of the runway.
So I really don't want to put any flaps in this then, because it didn't ask us.
Just above it. Resist the temptation to pull back. Nice. Now apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Well done, but there's room for
Yeah, no
improvement.
kidding.
Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
So I think they were really looking for a no flap landing. So let's redo that one. Just one time, see what happens here. All right, let's try this again, but this time I will not be adding any flaps.
For
Just
this landing
maintain
exercise,
that
I want you to
65.
focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast.
Yep, definitely nicely trimmed 65 right from the start. There's really not much you have to do except keep left and right aligned.
Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does. We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back. Now focus on the end of the runway and pull pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. That was excellent.
So they're definitely looking for a no flap landing. And really, and progressively the aircraft nose up to touchdown. So they say I could have done better on the flare and better on stopping and staying on the center line. Stay aligned with the runway, maintaining 65. So, I mean, it's really not that difficult to do this one. That was interesting. Still not bad. I think as a review in this one, it's really a lot of hands off because they've already trimmed it out for you. Whereas if you have an actual engine out, you got to get to 65, you got to trim it right, you got to do a whole bunch of other things. Um, you know, so this did all the work for you ahead of time, and so yeah, it's great for doing speed control on a descent like that without having to use the power. But I think it lacks a lot in getting you set to be able to enter that kind of scenario because it just put you slap right into it. So I think it could be better in that respect, but overall it's not bad. It's worth doing, I'd say. So anyway, all right. Well, I'll see you in the next one.